Today, we dive into some of the most shocking and tragic moments in history, when fame couldn't protect against the raw force of nature. These are the chilling stories of 10 well-known individuals who were killed by animals, not in war, not in scandal, but by creatures acting purely on instinct. From exotic pets turning on their owners to deadly encounters in the wild, these real-life tragedies stunned the world. They remind us that no amount of celebrity or power can shield us from nature's unpredictable wrath. These weren't villains in a horror film, just animals doing what they do to survive. In every case, the outcome was heartbreaking and brutal. Join us as we revisit the final moments of these public figures and reflect on the fragile line between civilization and the wild. In this video, we will be looking at well-known individuals who were killed by animals. Number 1. Steve Irwin, famously known as the Crocodile Hunter. He was an Australian wildlife conservationist, zookeeper, and television personality who became a global icon for his passion and fearless interaction with animals. Born on February 22, 1962, in Essendon, Victoria, Irwin grew up surrounded by wildlife at his parents' reptile park in Queensland, which later became the Australia Zoo. From a young age, he was handling snakes and crocodiles, developing a deep respect and fascination for reptiles. His boundless energy and love for animals exploded onto TV screens in the 90s with The Crocodile Hunter. Khakis, crikey, and pure passion made him a global icon. But Steve wasn't just about thrills. He was a warrior for wildlife. From founding conservation organizations to expanding Australia Zoo, his mission was clear: protect the planet's most misunderstood creatures. Tragically, Steve Irwin died on September 4, 2006, while filming a documentary titled Ocean's Deadliest on the Great Barrier Reef. He was fatally pierced in the chest by a stingray's barb while snorkeling in shallow water. His sudden and unexpected death shocked the world, as he was known for handling far more dangerous animals, like crocodiles and venomous snakes. Irwin's legacy continues through his family. His wife Terry and their children, Bindi and Robert, have carried on his mission through the Australia Zoo and media appearances, promoting wildlife conservation. Steve Irwin is remembered not just for his daring animal encounters, but for his deep love for nature and his relentless dedication to preserving wildlife for future generations. His legacy remains a powerful force in conservation efforts worldwide. Number 2. Timothy Treadwell, a man who dared to live among wild grizzly bears and paid the ultimate price. Timothy Treadwell traded society for the wild, believing he was destined to protect Alaska's grizzly bears. For 13 summers, he lived unarmed among them, face to face with nature's most powerful predators. But his story is as haunting as it is fascinating. Born in 1957, Treadwell struggled with addiction and identity until he reinvented himself as a bear advocate. With a camera in hand and a fearless heart, he ventured deep into Katmai National Park, documenting his experiences in raw, intimate detail. He spoke to the bears, gave them names, and called the wilderness his sanctuary. To some, he was a hero. To others, dangerously naive. Despite warnings from park officials and wildlife experts, Treadwell believed the bears accepted him. He rejected safety precautions and grew increasingly bold, venturing closer each year. His footage, though stunning, often showed him inches from wild bears, some weighing over 1,000 pounds. In October 2003, Treadwell's life came to a tragic end when he and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, were mauled and killed by a grizzly bear. The incident shocked the public and wildlife community, igniting debates about human interaction with wild animals. The attack occurred late in the season when food was scarce and bear aggression more likely. A video camera recovered at the scene contained audio of the fatal attack, though the footage itself was never made public. Timothy Treadwell died doing what he loved, but his end sparked fierce debate. Was he a visionary or a cautionary tale? Treadwell's life and death became widely known through Werner Herzog's 2005 documentary Grizzly Man, which compiled his footage and explored the psychological dimensions of his wilderness obsession. While his methods remain controversial, Timothy Treadwell's legacy continues to provoke discussion on wildlife conservation, human-animal boundaries, and the fine line between passion and peril. Number 3. Dawn Brancheau, one of SeaWorld's most experienced and beloved whale trainers. Born on April 16, 1969, in Cedar Lake, Indiana, Dawn was the youngest of 6 children. Her fascination with marine life began during a family trip to SeaWorld, where she aspired to become a shamu trainer. Pursuing this dream, she earned degrees in psychology and animal behavior from the University of South Carolina. She started her career working with dolphins at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey before joining SeaWorld Orlando in 1994, initially working with otters and sea lions. By 1996, she began working with orcas and played a significant role in revamping the Shamu Show, becoming a prominent figure in SeaWorld's public performances. Tragically, on February 24, 2010, Dawn's life was cut short during a routine interaction with Tilikum, a 12,000-pound orca with a history of aggression. While performing at the Dine with Shamu show, Tilikum grabbed her by the ponytail and pulled her into the pool. Despite efforts by staff to intervene, the orca held her underwater for over 30 minutes. The autopsy revealed that Dawn died from blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and torso, along with drowning. Dawn's death prompted significant changes in marine park safety protocols. SeaWorld ceased water-based performances with orcas, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, enforced stricter regulations to protect trainers. Her legacy continues through the Dawn Brancheau Foundation, which supports community outreach and animal welfare initiatives. Dawn Brancheau is remembered not only for her contributions to marine mammal training, but also for the profound impact her life and untimely death had on the industry, leading to increased awareness and reforms in animal trainer safety. Number 4. Catherine Chappell. She was an American visual effects editor, best known for her work on popular television series and films. Born on December 19, 1985 in Rye, New York, she grew up with a passion for storytelling and visual art. Her career in visual effects took her to some of the biggest productions in Hollywood, including the acclaimed HBO series Game of Thrones, for which her team won an Emmy Award. She also worked on major films such as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Divergent, and Godzilla. Colleagues and friends often described her as creative, kind-hearted, and deeply committed to using her talents to inspire and entertain. Outside of her professional life, Chappell was an adventurous spirit with a deep love for wildlife and conservation. Her passion for animals led her to travel extensively and support various wildlife preservation causes. In 2015, she was visiting South Africa to raise funds for Wildlife ACT, an organization dedicated to the conservation of endangered species. Tragically, Catherine Chappell's life was cut short on June 1, 2015, during a visit to Lion Park, a wildlife reserve near Johannesburg. While on a safari tour, she reportedly opened a window of the vehicle to take photographs, despite park rules advising against it. A lion lunged through the open window and fatally attacked her. The incident shocked the public and wildlife community, sparking debates about safety protocols in wildlife parks and the responsibilities of tourists. Chappell's death was not only a heartbreaking loss to her family and friends, but also to the film industry and conservation world. She is remembered both for her groundbreaking creative work and her passion for protecting the natural world, a legacy that continues to inspire. Number 5. Taylor Mitchell. She was a promising Canadian folk singer-songwriter whose life was tragically cut short in a rare and fatal wildlife encounter. Born Taylor Josephine Stephanie Lucio on August 27, 1990, in Toronto, Ontario, Mitchell emerged as a rising talent in the folk music scene. Her debut album, For Your Consideration, released in March 2009, garnered positive reviews and airplay. She was nominated for Young Performer of the Year at the 2009 Canadian Folk Music Awards. Mitchell had a deep appreciation for nature and was known for her environmental consciousness. In October 2009, at the age of 19, Mitchell embarked on a solo tour of Eastern Canada. During a break between performances, she decided to hike the Skyline Trail in Cape Breton Highlands National Park, Nova Scotia. On October 27th, while hiking alone, she was attacked by 2 eastern coyotes. Despite efforts by nearby hikers and emergency responders, Mitchell sustained multiple bite wounds and succumbed to her injuries the following day at a Halifax hospital. Mitchell's death was unprecedented. It remains the only confirmed fatal coyote attack on an adult in Canada. The incident shocked wildlife experts, as coyotes are typically shy and avoid human interaction. Subsequent studies suggested that the coyotes in the park had adapted to hunting larger prey, such as moose, due to a scarcity of smaller animals. This unusual behavior may have contributed to the aggression displayed in the attack on Mitchell. In the aftermath, Mitchell's mother, Emily Mitchell, established the Taylor Mitchell Legacy Trust in partnership with the David Suzuki Foundation. The trust aims to promote musical and creative expression, educate the public on habitat preservation, and foster awareness of safe human-wildlife interactions. Taylor Mitchell's untimely death serves as a poignant reminder of the unpredictable nature of wildlife and the importance of understanding and respecting the boundaries between humans and wild animals. Number 6. Ali Khan Samsudin, famously known as Malaysia's Snake King, gained national and international recognition for his daring feats with deadly animals. Born in 1958 in Malaysia, Ali Khan devoted his life to handling and living among some of the world's most dangerous creatures, including cobras, pythons, and scorpions. He made headlines for setting bizarre world records, notably living in close confinement with hundreds of snakes and scorpions for days at a time, often inside glass enclosures. He was celebrated as a national daredevil and a master animal handler, particularly admired for his supposed immunity to snake venom. His fame peaked in the 1990s and early 2000s as he continued to perform public stunts to prove his skill and fearlessness. He became a media sensation and a Malaysian folk hero, drawing large crowds to witness his life-risking interactions with serpents. Ali Khan claimed to possess spiritual protections and antidotal resistance that allowed him to survive bites that would be fatal to others. His acts weren't only about showmanship, but were also promoted as efforts to raise awareness and respect for these feared animals. Tragically, Ali Khan Samsudin's life ended in 2006 in the very way he had tempted fate for decades, by snakebite. At the age of 48, he was bitten by a king cobra, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. Unlike previous encounters, the bite proved fatal. He died at Kuala Lumpur Hospital after succumbing to the cobra's venom. His death sent shockwaves through Malaysia and around the globe, especially among fans who saw him as invincible. Ironically, it was the very creature he had spent his life mastering that ultimately ended it. His demise raised questions about the limits of human resistance and the real risks involved in his performances. Despite the tragic end, Ali Khan remains a legendary figure, a man who lived and died by the snakes he so passionately embraced. Number 7. Joseph Bruno Slowinski. He was a prominent American herpetologist known for his expertise in venomous snakes, particularly in Asia. Born in 1962, Slowinski pursued his passion for reptiles through rigorous academic training, eventually earning his PhD and becoming the curator of herpetology at the California Academy of Sciences. Over his career, he described new species, conducted extensive fieldwork in Southeast Asia, and became widely respected in the scientific community for his dedication and deep knowledge. Tragically, Slowinski's promising life was cut short under harrowing circumstances during a 2001 expedition to Myanmar, Burma. On September 11th, while deep in the remote forests of Kachin State, Slowinski was bitten by a juvenile Bungarus krait, commonly known as a many-banded krait, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. The bite occurred in a camp inaccessible by road, with no quick means of evacuation or advanced medical support. Initially, Slowinski believed the bite would not be fatal because it was from a young snake, and he reportedly remained calm and continued working. However, within hours, he began to experience the paralyzing effects of the neurotoxic venom. As his condition deteriorated, his team attempted to seek help using satellite communications, but severe weather and political tensions in the region delayed any potential rescue. For nearly 30 hours after the bite, Slowinski remained conscious, communicating with his team and even giving scientific instructions, aware of the grim outcome. Despite the team's best efforts, no antivenom or medical help reached them in time. He ultimately died from respiratory failure caused by the venom, still stranded in the jungle. Slowinski's death shocked the scientific world. It served as a sobering reminder of the risks faced by researchers working in remote and hazardous environments. He was only 38 years old. In his memory, colleagues and institutions have honored his legacy with scholarships, species named after him, and by continuing his work in herpetology. His death remains one of the most dramatic and tragic instances of a scientist falling victim to the very subject of their passion. Number 8. Jackie Boxberger, born Jacques-André Pierre Boxberger on April 16, 1949 in Châtel-sur-Moselle, Vosges, France, was a distinguished French middle and long-distance runner. He gained prominence in 1968 by setting a junior world record in the 1500 meters and finishing 6th in the same event at the Mexico City Olympics at just 19 years old. Throughout his career, he represented France in 4 Olympic Games: 1968, 1972, 1976, and 1984, secured multiple national titles, and won the Paris Marathon twice in 1983 and 1985. His athletic journey was marked by resilience, especially after a knee injury sustained during his military service, which impacted his performance but didn't deter his passion for the sport. Tragically, Boxberger's life was cut short on August 9, 2001, during a family safari in Kenya's Tsavo East National Park. While attempting to photograph an elephant near the Voi River, he was attacked by a female elephant. The animal reportedly picked him up with its trunk, slammed him against a tree multiple times, and then trampled him to death. This horrific incident occurred in the presence of his family, including his youngest son, Jeremy. Boxberger's untimely death sent shockwaves through the athletics community and beyond. He was remembered not only for his athletic achievements, but also for his dedication and the inspiration he provided to many, including his daughter, Ophélie Claude Boxberger, who followed in his footsteps to become a competitive runner. Number 9. Diane Whipple. She was a vibrant and accomplished woman whose life was tragically cut short in one of the most shocking dog attack cases in American history. Born on January 31, 1968, she was a talented athlete who excelled in track and field. Whipple competed at a high level and even qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials. She later became the women's lacrosse coach at St. Mary's College in Moraga, California, where she was deeply respected by her students and peers. Whipple lived in San Francisco with her partner, Sharon Smith, and the two shared a quiet, happy life in a Pacific Heights apartment building. However, everything changed on January 26, 2001, when Diane fell victim to a brutal and fatal dog mauling that would capture national attention. On that day, Whipple was attacked in the hallway of her apartment building by a massive Presa Canario dog named Bane. The dog, along with another named Hera, belonged to neighbors Marjorie Knoller and Robert Noel. The dogs were known to be aggressive, and despite repeated complaints from other tenants, their owners did little to restrain or properly manage them. The fatal attack happened as Diane was bringing groceries home. As she reached her apartment, one of the dogs lunged at her in the hallway. The attack was ferocious and relentless. Diane sustained over 70 bites, including severe injuries to her neck and face. Despite being rushed to the hospital, she died from blood loss and asphyxiation due to neck injuries. The aftermath of Diane Whipple's death sparked public outrage and led to one of the most high-profile trials involving dog mauling in U.S. history. Knoller was eventually convicted of second-degree murder, an extremely rare charge in such a case, while Noel was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Diane's death raised serious questions about pet ownership responsibility and legal accountability. Her partner, Sharon Smith, later won a landmark civil case that recognized their domestic partnership, setting a precedent for same-sex couples. Whipple's legacy endures as a reminder of the devastating consequences of negligence and the importance of protecting others from preventable harm. Matthew Schiller. He was a well-known French bodyboarder, surf school instructor, and waterman from Réunion Island. Born in 1979, Schiller was a respected figure in the surfing community and had represented France in international bodyboarding competitions. Passionate about the ocean from a young age, he dedicated much of his life to teaching others how to surf and promoting water safety. His charisma and dedication made him a beloved figure among students, fellow surfers, and island residents. However, Schiller's promising life was tragically cut short on September 19, 2011, in an incident that remains one of the most horrifying shark attacks in the history of Réunion Island. That morning, Schiller and a group of surfers were at Buchan, a popular beach on the island's west coast. Conditions were rough, with murky water, a known risk factor for shark activity, but experienced surfers like Schiller often knew how to navigate such environments. Suddenly, without warning, a shark appeared and struck Schiller while he was on his board. Witnesses described a violent scene as a large tiger shark, possibly accompanied by another shark, repeatedly attacked him. Despite frantic attempts by others to rescue him, they were forced to retreat due to the ferocity of the attack and fear for their own safety. Schiller was dragged underwater and never resurfaced. His body was never recovered, though some of his surf gear was later found. The attack sparked shock and outrage across Reunion Island and the global surfing community. It also reignited debates about shark protection, human safety, and environmental changes that were believed to be increasing shark attacks in the area. Schiller's death marked the first fatal shark attack in Reunion since the 1990s, and he became the tragic symbol of a growing crisis. Matthew Schiller is remembered not only for his contributions to surfing, but also for the horrific and rare circumstances surrounding his death. His legacy lives on through those he taught and the continued discussions on balancing marine conservation with human safety. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unexpected and the unbelievable.